Do you know what you're going to say when I call your name?
I think I know. I think
Something creative?
We'll see.
All right. Welcome to the Star Wars Brothers podcast. I'm Cliff Boyd, and I'm here with John Boyd.
Brother.
And Drew Shepard.
Konnichiwa.
Hey, there you go.
For our international listeners.
Hi.
Yeah. Konnichiwa. Is that Japanese?
It is.
Nice. Do you know how to say hello in Taipei?
Not a clue.
John, do you know?
No.
Do you even know what Taipei is? Because I don't, but I know how to say hello in Taipei.
No, I don't.
Cool. It's ni hao.
Oh.
Oh, it's Chinese. Okay.
Is Taipei in China? It probably is.
Well, wait. Isn't Taipei the capital of Taiwan?
Maybe. Do they say ni hao in Taiwanese? Is Taiwanese a language?
Well, is that one of those areas that's like it's funk you don't talk about? Like if you're traveling, because the Chinese are like, it really belongs to us. And then the people are like, no, that we live here. And it's one of those like,
I don't know.
You better watch out who you say it around.
I have no conception of any of those international conflicts.
Maybe I only do because of Amy. I don't know. But
oh yeah. I know that because there is a song by the Animaniacs called Hello.
Oh yeah.
And it's in Germany, it's Guten Tag, which also means good day. Ni hao is exactly how hello sounds in Taipei. And that's pretty much all the lyrics I know. But I always remember those two.
Your state's capital song was always so much fun. I loved it.
Yeah, that's good.
That one.
And then I like the one with the countries as well. United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru.
Republic Dominica, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Honduras, Venezuela.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll keep.
Do you know it all? Do you know the whole song?
Not the whole song. I don't know all of it, but
yeah. But you're right. The state's capital, and he does it, and it's Wacko, isn't it, that sings it? So he's got kind of the goofy voice. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Montgomery is the capital of Ohio.
There's Montgomery. Yeah. I don't know. I can learn something if you put it to a song, honestly.
Yeah, sure. Cool. Guys, talk for a minute because I have to go check on my son. He's yelling at the top of his lungs. I'll be right back. I'm going to keep recording and I'm not cutting this. So entertain our listeners while I'm gone.
All right. Go for it. John, we're used to this now. We did this like last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever. Yep. So
I don't know. I'm at a loss, though. I don't even know what interesting thing I have to talk about today. It's been just kind of a dull week.
I mean, those can be kind of nice, though. Not going to lie.
Yeah, I guess.
I was talking to some of my colleagues today because we have our weekly team meeting on Thursdays. And so they were asking, hey, what did you get up to this past week? I mean, because we talk throughout the week, but really we don't talk a lot about a lot of other things until the end of the week, just because it's always busier Monday, more relaxed around Thursday, Friday. And I was like, I was really looking forward to Monday. And they're like, why were you looking forward? You don't understand. We had such a busy weekend. Sunday night, I was like, I can't wait for tomorrow because tomorrow is going to be so like structured. So,
no, I took today off. I took tomorrow off. So trying to burn up some time off before the end of the year because it's I can only carry over 5 days. And I've got like 12 that I didn't use. So it kind of stinks losing all those, but.
Ooh, you lost 7 days off?
I did. But I mean, I did work from home from like March to September.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, whatever. Yeah. Kind of stinks, but
there's no sort of encashment program where you can like.
No. Only if I get fired, they'll pay out a certain amount of days. So hopefully I don't get any kind of payout.
Yeah. So that builds up. Are you saying you like kind of banked 7 days for the future? Is that what it is?
So I can carry over 5 days.
Oh, okay. But you just lost the 7 days off.
I just lost the 7
Basically,
days.
you worked for free for 7 days last year.
Yeah, stinks.
Cool. Yeah.
No.
That's some.
So So with my old job, I was required to take off Thanksgiving week and Christmas week.
Oh, okay.
In my new job, I had Corona during Thanksgiving. And so whatever.
Yep.
And then Christmas week, like there's no way I'm taking off. I barely get Christmas off with my new job. I mean,
sure.
Officially I do, but I'm available and I'm making sure everything's the way it's supposed to be. So it's kind of hard to get those days back. So,
okay.
I'll do better next year.
I'll be a better employee and take off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a funny way to incentivize people. I don't know. That's not the way I think, but
yeah, I get 39 days off a year. And so sometimes it's hard to use them.
39 days is pretty good though.
Yeah.
Considering that, you get weekends on top of that too. So
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's more than a month. You couldn't take it all at once though, right? You'd have to split it up.
If I had a genuine reason to, I could.
Yeah.
And really there's nothing that they can do to not, but it wouldn't be good.
It wouldn't be good for your reputation.
No.
Standing with your boss.
Yeah.
All right. Your stores would fall into disrepair.
It wouldn't be good.
All the merchandise would be stolen.
At all, yeah. Yeah, without me.
So what's new, Drew?
Man. Well, just right off the cuff, I have to tell you, I have been networking and advertising this podcast still.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Are we getting some new listeners, you think?
I don't think so, but I'm trying. I'm at least getting the word out there. We went to a wedding on Saturday up in Gainesville, and some of my friends were like, "Oh, what have y'all been up to? What are you doing?" Blah, blah, just haven't seen these people in a few months. And I was like, "Well, do you like Star Wars?" And Amy's right beside me, and she immediately says, "Oh my gosh, are you real?" We might get a few sympathy listeners. They're like, "Oh, how many people do you have listening?" I was like, "Oh, 5, maybe 3, including us." And they're like, "Oh, I want to listen on my car ride now just to get you more views." I was like, "No, we really don't care." Like, she's like, "No, but I care. That's sad." I was like, "Well, here's the link."
Some sympathy lessons. That's funny.
So it's kind of the opposite with me. So I'm I'll say I don't have just a whole lot of friends. Like I have a few people that I talk to, right? And then my wife has like thousands of friends everywhere we ever move immediately. Mm-hmm. And so to try to get me like talking with her friends' husbands, she'll be like, "So do you like Star Wars?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is not a good way to start this off." And then she'll be like, "Yeah, my husband does a podcast." And they're like, "Really?" And then I'm like, "I sure hope they don't listen."
Yeah.
Let's let them get to know me first. So.
Yeah.
We all have that bridge that's like, okay, we're meeting a brand new person for the first time. It's like, all right, where can I bridge, start making connections here with this person? And sometimes it is Star Wars. I'm like, at least lately, honestly, after doing this podcast, that has been one of the go-tos. Like, well, do you like Star Wars, perhaps?
Do you like podcasts?
Yeah.
Well.
The problem is that it's not like you can just type in Star Wars and our podcast comes up.
No.
You literally have to type in the Star Wars Brothers. And like, by the time you get to the R in Brothers, it's like, oh, that one? Okay. Okay.
It's like,
hand them your business card.
You didn't accidentally type in everything else exactly right before you got okay. You must be like looking for this one.
It autofills the S, it's like, all right. Oh, anything new with you, John?
No, not really. We were talking when you were tending to Luke.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of just a slow week for me, which is good sometimes, but nothing really new. No.
Yeah. Well, not really with me either. You mentioned my son's name. I don't know if I've ever told this story before, but my wife, she wanted to name Luke something that was just straightforward and simple. And she wanted him to go by his first name, which I think is a good thing. And I liked names that were a little bit more creative, and she just didn't like any of them. So finally one day, and she really wanted a Bible name. So she was coming up with all these different Bible names. I didn't really like any of them. She finally said Luke, and I said, may not be so bad. I can say, Luke, I am your father. She almost immediately nixed it. And then finally she was like, well, maybe that's okay. So I tell people that Shauna named him a Bible name, and I named him a Star Wars name. But yeah, not really any news with me. Just been playing my PlayStation 5. Well, I do have these new drops that I don't know if I talked about them before or not, but it's basically this really, really dense salt water that I drip into my eyes. It just stings so bad. And I have to do it 6 times a day for like a month and a half to see if it helps my vision. I don't know if it will or not, but I'm trying it. So I'm sort of hopeful, but also kind of coming to grips with my vision. I don't remember how much I've told listeners before, but had sort of not a completely botched surgery, but it did not go very well. Thought it did at the time. And then just as time has gone on, my eyes have not gotten any better from where they are right now. I've got sort of vision impairment in that I can't see as well anytime. It's not just very bright outside. If it's very bright, then I see pretty good. And if it's not, I don't. So, but I talked to a doctor the other day, and he's got me trying these drops that just burn the fire out of my eyes. And we're going to see if it does any good. So keep doing that.
Sure hope so.
But yeah, I hope so. If not, it's at least I have my sight. It's could be worse.
Yeah.
Could be worse. And there's some drops I have to sort of treat it and make it to where I can see a little bit better in the evenings. And it's not a great system, but it's better than not having any option to see better than I do by default right now. So,
yeah.
So anyway, I think I've talked about that some before, so I won't go on and on about it. But just been trying that new treatment, burning my eyes with these drops that have like this. It's like this. It's sodium chloride, and the carrier is some kind of acid, and it just hurts so bad every time I put it. It doesn't last long because my eyes will water, and it washes it out and dilutes it pretty quick. But when I first dripped that drop into my eyes, every single time, it just burns like crazy. So it's like rubbing a pepper in your eye,
Accidentally when you're cutting jalapeno peppers and like you scratch your eye.
Right.
Like,
yeah. It's like, it's kind of that feeling.
Speaking of eyes, and this is completely random, but I've always, how the Siths have like red eyes?
Yeah.
And they always look like they need drops. I wonder if their eyes burn.
I don't know.
And on the flip side, I wonder if these drops, if they don't work, if maybe they'll give you like a Sith eye look. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of bad for my business, but
that'd be
my class would be like, what is wrong
but
with
you
this
could be
guy?
you might be a very effective cosplayer.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe I can go into professional cosplaying, get my my Darth Maul face paint and my robot spider body. That'd be pretty cool. Oh, so the end of season 4, man, I'm pumped. I'm going to go ahead and summarize it. I'll go ahead and summarize it, and we'll jump right into it, unless you have something else you want to say before we do that.
So are you still recording?
Yeah.
Why
would I stop recording?
Okay,
right
there it goes. I don't know.
Okay.
It went away. It went away for me, but it popped back up.
Okay, yeah.
I will say, so I have not enjoyed season 4.
Oh, okay.
Like for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the last arc was pretty good. You gave it like a 7, didn't you?
Yeah, well, the last arc, but that's out of a whole season, one arc.
Yeah.
I think that everybody, the ones that we just watched, are the ones everyone remembers. Let me just say that.
Yeah, I bet so.
And they tell you season 4 is so good.
Yeah.
It's because of what we just watched. Anyways, I'll let, before we go and reveal too much, I'll let let you introduce them and all like you normally do.
Okay, I actually didn't reread because I just watched these yesterday. I watched them all 4 back to back in a row, like it was one big movie. Just such an awesome night. Got so pumped watching it at so many different points in every episode. Really, it's just 4 great episodes back to back. I thought anyway, and when I got done, well, let's see, what was I saying? Oh, and so I didn't need, because I saw him so recently, I didn't actually need to go and reread any notes or anything about it. Like last week, it had been like a month. So this week, everything's really fresh. I'm going to just summarize it best I can remember it. Basically, we start out with a focus on Ventress, and she is with the Night Sisters and the Night Mother on that weird planet. Again, I guess last time we left her, she had basically, I don't remember exactly how she got there, but she had been, yeah, that's right. Palpatine basically ordered Dooku to kill her, right? And so she felt betrayed and had to end up running away and went with her Night Sisters. So beginning of the episode, she basically becomes an official Night Sister, and then Dooku sends, which she goes through some kind of a weird baptism, and I don't know, it was strange. Then Dooku sends his droid army, led by General Grievous, to attack. So they go and they attack the Night Sisters and just get to where they're slaughtering all of them. But the Night Mother goes and performs a secret ritual thing where she uses her witchcraft to basically raise a zombie army out of dead Night Sisters from the past. And they are able to contend with the droids for a while, but it doesn't last. They eventually are overpowered, overcome, and the Night Sisters are basically all slaughtered, except for Ventress and the Night Mother, as far as we know. We don't know of anyone other than that who is a survivor. I don't think. I think it's just those 2. And I'm not even 100% convinced the Night Mother survived. I was a little bit unclear about that. She kind of becomes an apparition who maybe she's always been like that. I don't know. But she sort of goes from this green smoke to some sort of a bodily form of some kind. And I got sort of a Force Ghost impression at first, but then I thought, well, no, maybe she's always been like that. So not 100% sure. But anyway, that's sort of where we end up. Ventress ends up basically having to flee and figure out what to do with her life now that all of her Night Sisters are destroyed. So she runs into some bounty hunters in the next episode, and they go on this big delivery mission for these weird sort of guys who have a mouth that has 4 little parts that come together. Sort of squid-like, seemed like a very uncomfortable mouth, very unnatural mouth that they had. But anyway, she goes on this mission for them where she has to deliver this box with these other bounty hunters. And that team is actually led by none other than Boba Fett. Bosk is actually also on the team, but Bosk is now following Boba Fett's leadership, even though he's still just an adolescent. If even that, I don't know how old he is, but he seems sort of adolescent-like to me in this episode. But Bosk and a bunch of other bounty hunters go on this. They get on this train in this underground planet, and they get attacked by these assassin-looking guys with these masks on. And while they are fighting them off and fulfilling their, what would you call it? What do bounty hunters get? Their commission or whatever? Yeah, they're fulfilling their contract. The box that they're delivering gets knocked over. They were told, do not open this box. Their box gets knocked over, and inside is a girl. And turns out the assassins that are after what's in this box are really just this girl's people trying to rescue her, led by her, I don't know, fiance or husband or boyfriend or something. I don't know. But anyway,
brother.
Ventress is like, okay, well, we still got to finish the job. So she beats him up, delivers the box. All the other bounty hunters basically fall except for her and Boba Fett. And then she basically insists to Boba Fett that, no, I'm going to deliver because you're just a kid and they won't respect you if you do it. So they all kind of underestimate her at the beginning. They think, okay, I guess we'll take this woman along, whatever. see if she can hang with us. But they're kind of trying to push her around. By the end of it, you realize that they're no match for her, that she is far superior to all the rest of them combined, and is the only one who is left besides Boba Fett at the end there after the assassins attack. All the other ones got thrown off the train. I don't think anybody died, but they all got thrown off the train. Anyway, she delivers the box and then gets back on the train and goes away. Turns out the box was being delivered because they were trying to send this woman to this other squid guy to be his wife. So here's this sex slavery showing up in human trafficking, sex slavery showing up in Star Wars again. But when he opens the box, there's none other than Boba Fett inside. But she takes the bounty money, books it, takes just her share, gives the rest of the shares to the other people, and then leaves. And she's like, Boba Fett will find his way back. So she actually sets the others free and has them pay her for it. But she sets the girl and the boyfriend free, and just kind of gets us to warm up to her a little bit. Like, okay, maybe she's not completely evil because she at least didn't want to be involved in this human trafficking, unlike others. Boba Fett, I guess. Although I don't guess Boba Fett knew it was human trafficking either until the end, but was definitely still okay with fulfilling the mission even after he found out he was delivering a human. So says something about Boba Fett, perhaps. Anyway, she leaves. She's got some money now, and we don't really hear from her again for a little while. But in the next episode, we go and meet up with Savage Opress again, and he goes and he's on the hunt for his brother, none other than Darth Maul. And so he goes to this big dump planet where there's these big fire robot things that eat the trash. And so he's on this planet and he runs into this snake, talking snake. And this snake leads him to Boba Fett. Obviously, Savage looks like Boba Fett because he's the same race of alien as Boba Fett is. So the snake kind of knows what he's looking for and takes him there. But when he gets there, he pushes him down the hole, thinking that he's basically feeding him to am I saying Boba Fett? I mean Darth Maul. Darth Maul. He's trying to find his brother Darth Maul. So he basically throws him down this pit and thinks that Darth Maul will take care of him, right? Well, Savage and Darth Maul, I think they end up fighting, right? But then eventually, y'all help me out. What exactly happens here? I think the snake comes down and is surprised that Savage isn't already dead. And then Savage maybe kind of just, I don't know if he overpowers Darth Maul or not, but they end up basically by the end of it, Savage ends up killing that little snake guy and then bringing Maul to the Night Mother, who is the one who sent him to go and find Darth Maul to begin with, right? She's the one who told him that his brother was still alive and sent him on this mission. So he brings Boba Fett to her, or Boba Fett, I keep saying it. He brings Darth Maul to her. The crazy thing about Darth Maul, though, is he has these spider legs, these metal spider legs, because obviously his legs were cut off at the end of episode 1, the movie. And so he has these spider legs now. But when the Night Mother gets a hold of him, obviously he's lost his mind, right? He's just not talking sense, and he's kind of skittish and scared of everything, but obviously still a force to be reckoned with. Still able to use the force in his unstable and sort of erratic state. But the Night Mother basically discards his spider robot legs and gives him a pair of more normal robot legs, if you could call them that, where he's a bipedal being again, and uses her witchcraft to basically sort of extract the darkness from his mind that has driven him to such a state of madness. And come to find out, the reason why he was able to survive is that he was just so angry at Obi-Wan that he wanted to get revenge and sort of willed himself to hold on to the last bit of life that he had left in him. We don't know where his spider limbs came from, but maybe we can theorize about that. Anyway, in the next episode, he and Savage basically want to draw out Obi-Wan because he now wants to fulfill his desire for revenge and slaughter Obi-Wan, teach him a lesson. So in order to draw out the Jedi, he says, well, there's one thing that the Jedi cannot ignore. They go to a planet with innocent people and they start killing kids. And the Jedi see what's happening. Obi-Wan's like, all right, I guess I got to go. Mace Windu says, no, it's a trap. This is what they want you to do. You shouldn't go. Yoda chimes in and says, actually, no, I think you're right. I think you need to go. And Yoda says, I have a feeling that you're going to get help from an unlikely source. And we kind of know who that's going to be. But he ends up going after Darth Maul and Savage, but he does not know that Savage is with him and ends up being overpowered by the two of them. So they capture him, and they're about to just basically torture him to death when Ventress pops in, wanting to cash in on the bounty that has been placed on Savage Opress's head, right? So Ventress and Obi-Wan end up teaming up in a fight against Savage and Maul, and really they're not strong enough to beat him. Savage and Maul are the better warriors of the two pairs, I think, and they end up having to flee. So they jump into the cockpit of the spaceship that they're in at the time and book it to finish the battle another day, I suppose, and roll credits. So man, a lot of crazy developments, big shifts in characters that we know. The return of Maul in a way that I did not expect at all. Let's get y'all's initial reactions to these episodes, to this arc. Were y'all surprised by the Night Sisters being wiped out?
Yeah, I was. I was surprised by it for sure.
I can't answer that. That's all I'll say.
You can't answer it.
I can't answer that.
Oh, were you spoiled on it or something?
I already knew that was coming from something else.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Drew, what have you ruined for yourself? Have you been
That's
watching
all I'm
YouTube
saying.
again?
I respect the right for you to find out things on your own that you will soon enough.
Okay.
So
Okay. That's fair.
I was more surprised by the zombie army.
Yeah, I liked it, man. I loved the zombie Night Sisters coming out of the pods.
I did too.
Because, we'd seen those pods before. For the very first time we showed up on the Night Sisters planet, however many, episodes ago, maybe season 3 or 2 or something, those pods were hanging there. And we just thought it was a weird planet decoration. Come to find out, that's where they put the dead Night Sisters to save them for a zombie resurrection when needed. So I loved it. I thought they were awesome. This was a. I think we had zombies one other time in this series, didn't we? What was that?
Yeah, they were controlled by the larva. Of Big Mama or whatever it was.
Big Mama,
right?
Mama Slug or whatever.
Yeah,
right.
And that voodoo on Dooku, that was creepy as all get out. I was watching him he's getting these balls of boils and stuff on his head. I'm like. And then he throws up all that green magic stuff. And man, this is a kid's show.
Yeah. So to remind listeners, if it's been a while since you've seen this arc, during the battle, the Night Mother in the background goes and along with working with this old lady Night Sister to create this zombie, to resurrect this zombie army, she also creates this voodoo doll of Dooku and starts torturing it. And you see Dooku go through some very disturbing torture as a result of this voodoo doll until I guess Grievous ends up finding them back there and destroying them after he takes care of the rest of them. So,
the only thing missing from those scenes when Dooku was suffering and in pain all over the place was some droid just popping up. Hey, what's wrong with this guy? Looks like he's got a headache, something.
It would have been good. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they seem to do anything like that in so many other circumstances in this series.
Right. Yeah. It would have been a good comic relief. Really a needed comic relief for this episode. This was quite a dark arc.
Yeah.
In many ways. Really the most lighthearted episode was probably that second one. And even it had that human sex trafficking in it again.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I couldn't tell, talking about that, you mentioned with Boba, I couldn't tell if he was or was not in favor of that, or just because when it was revealed that it was the girl, he's like, "Don't worry, I'll protect you." And then the next thing you know, she's in handcuffs on the train. I was like, "Well, wait, what's happened? Like, you aren't going to protect her? I'm confused here."
Yeah, so I get the impression that when the box first opened, he sort of assumed that they were protecting her. But then by the end of it, it was like, oh, no, she's being delivered, not protected.
Mm.
And it seemed to me that he was just going to go along with whatever the job was. That's what I remember anyway. But then Ventress wasn't going to have it. So. Was that your impression too, John?
Yeah, it was. I think he didn't expect her to. Didn't she slap him as well?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Right,
yeah.
Right when she came out and she slapped him, and I think he was going to protect her, and then it was like, "Oh, you're trying to leave."
Right.
I don't. I'm not a huge fan of Boba Fett right now.
Yeah.
In the Clone Wars, I think Boba Fett's awesome, and I'm excited to learn more about him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm tired of the little angry boy.
Yeah. Well, he has to go through that stage to reach where he's going to be, I guess.
I get why they're doing it, but the bounty hunters kind of following this angry boy isn't so believable to me. I guess he is a good fighter. I mean, he was holding his own with his with Jango's blasters. But it still wasn't. I don't know.
I wonder if it's just his sense of purpose.
Yeah,
maybe he's just sort of the most driven, and everyone else is kind of like, "Well, we're just at it for the money." But then you've got this kid who's like, "No, I want to. Here's where I want to go. Here's my 5-year plan."
Right.
And maybe they're just kind of signing up for it. Like, okay, all right, that sounds okay. I guess we can stick with you for a while, and follow this path. That's kind of the impression I get. Speculation, I guess, but
I do enjoy learning more about Boba Fett, especially because of the spoiler. If you haven't watched Mandalorian,
big spoiler. Skip forward.
I like
20 seconds.
Yeah, by the time they get to this one, though, any new listeners get to this, it'll season 3 will be out.
Don't hurry and say it before your 20 seconds goes up.
Yeah.
Okay, skip forward another 20 seconds.
There we go. Anyways, I'll just leave it at that. I like learning more about him because of the current.
Because of what happens
stuff.
in The Mandalorian. So.
Correct.
Yeah. Yep. Me too.
They incorporated another one of the bounty hunters too in this episode. The Endo guy, the one with the brim hat that deflected blasters with it. He wasn't on the train, but he was there. He made like two or three appearances there too.
And he had kind of a dog creature with him. I don't know if we've seen the dog before or not. I didn't recognize it. I thought he might play a role, but then he never spoke a word. He was just sort of there.
Yeah.
But I definitely recognized him.
It is neat just to see, that some of these characters weren't just like literally one and done characters, that they're actually having a purpose again in future episodes.
Yeah, even to see him in the background is neat. Now, let me ask you this. Go ahead.
Also, Ventress's involvement, you're talking about, well, maybe she's, at least she had some good there, maybe. I think it was, she stepped away from being a Sith.
Right.
And forced away from it. Yeah. And she saw that little girl, she saw herself in there. Because the little girl was like, "You don't understand what it's like."
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And she was like, "Actually, I kind of do."
Yeah. Sure.
And so, I mean, she still got extra credits from the ninja people.
That was more just to uphold her intense reputation, I guess. She couldn't just do something good. Like it was good, even though that's why I think she was really doing it. Because she felt sympathy for this girl. She couldn't act like that was why.
Right.
And actually did. She got more money out of it, right? So she got not only her share of the bounty. I actually expected her to take all the credits and run. And she didn't. She shared the credits with the rest of the bounty hunters. And so she's kind of carving out her niche in the galaxy, not just as a self-serving renegade, but as a probably still pretty self-serving, but as somebody who has some sense of justice associated with her as well. Right.
Yeah.
Seeing the injustice of this human trafficking, seeing the fairness of making sure that the bounty was shared because she was in a team and she made a deal. And so she's keeping her word and doing something that's more honorable than something she could have done, right? Something she had it within her power to do. We see her sort of suppressing the ability that she has to just shut people down, right? Because she joins this bounty hunter team and they're treating her like dirt, like she's just the inferior one of them, when really she's by far the best, right? She's the person that Palpatine fears. And so just these others on the team don't compare to her, but she just sort of takes it and doesn't flaunt it. But then when push comes to shove, takes care of business. Mm-hmm. And then looks out for her teammates, right? Make sure they get their bounty. Sticking it to Boba Fett in at the same time, locking him in that box, and Well,
and on the other hand, they did force her to participate. Force her. Yeah. They had her, and then I was like, look, if she decides not to do this, you're all dead.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I mean, that wasn't their perspective, but it's kind of a funny scene there where where they're forcing her, and really she's like letting them live. I guess just so she can get some money to. Yeah.
I was actually afraid when all of that was happening. I was a little bit afraid that they were going to, like, in the canon of things, decrease her power level and make it out like she was a pushover now. And that was bothering me. I was like, man, I hope they don't, nerf Ventress here, because they've made her out to be such a threat. And now they're going to act like she can just be pushed around by Boba Fett as a kid. Like, come on. And then it was like, no, they weren't. She chose every bit of that. What they are doing is developing her character by, in a few ways. One, they're giving us, they're making us like her. They're making her out to be more than just this evil, horrible person. She cares about this girl in the box. She exhibits restraint in her powers. And so they're doing some really interesting character development for her, and in a way that I think makes sense, as she's trying to figure out what her place in the galaxy is now. She's not just an evil Night Sister. She can't be, because the Night Sisters are destroyed. She's not a Sith anymore. So what's she going to be? She's trying to figure that out, and she's broke. So, see, I was going to ask if you thought that this bounty hunter mission was justified. This was the most similar episode to others in the rest of the season. It seems like there have been a lot of episodes where we've got this little team that's going on this mission that's not directly connected to anything, not directly connected to the Clone Wars. It's just this bounty hunter crew. It seems like we've had this 3 or 4 times already. And I was wondering if you all thought this did enough to justify itself.
So I think it helped to the purpose of the whole thing was to show you a new Ventress. And that's how it's justified to me.
Sure.
Because I think it would have been maybe even harder to believe how well her and Obi-Wan worked together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Had you not had this softening of her character.
Right. Completely agree. Because up until this point, her and Obi-Wan, they've made it out to be, they are total enemies. We remember them fighting numerous times where they've tried to kill each other. And so the fact that she would show any sympathy to Obi-Wan would be like, no, this is unheard of.
Yeah. What's funny is while they were teamed up, one of the things I kept thinking of was something we talked about in the movie. You remember in the movie, we put a lot of emphasis on the dialogue between Obi-Wan and Ventress when they faced off and how it was a little bit flirtatious. I kept thinking about that this episode, where it was like, even though they're enemies, even though they hate each other, there was some kind of a little bit of a, I think attraction is the wrong word, but there was like a, what do you call it? A chemistry between them almost, even as early as that movie, that seems to be kind of coming back around. And I think actually paying off here a little.
Yeah, because when she picked him up, she's like, "Oh, Obi-Wan, you're not going down that easy." I mean, something like that, not verbatim, but
sure,
it's
like almost like they respected each other in a way.
Yeah,
even as early as the movie, but then you see it again now.
The idea that no one's going to take you down except for me, like I am the person to do that.
Yeah, I mean, she did slap him when she was trying to wake him up. It wasn't like a, it wasn't like a wake up, little pat on the cheek. I mean, she was like, "Oh, Obi-Wan, you're not going down this easy," and then slapped him across the face.
And let's be real, she did it because she needs him, not because she's just trying to show sympathy for him.
but even after, they didn't kill each other as they're escaping. So there is something there.
Yeah. Okay, we have to talk about Spider Mall. I want to know what y'all's reaction was.
Spider Mall.
I almost sang the same song.
Creepy, honestly. And especially when they Savage and Spider Mall, or I guess that's what we're calling them at
Spider
this point.
Mall. That's what he is.
We're underground in the campfire, and Maul was just losing it. Psychologically, that was creepy. I mean, because
broken.
Yeah, you could just see it. The way that they were, the lines, the way they had drawn him, the dialogue was, he was a broken person, and it was creepy because, I mean, you know why he is that way, and to think that, oh my gosh, he's been alive this whole time.
Yeah, I was completely taken aback by it. Because you see him in the crystal ball or whatever, and I thought, oh, he's just hanging out somewhere, living like a hermit, and he's going to go find him and then be trained by Maul, be trained by his brother, and it wasn't that at all. It was something totally different and completely out of left field for me. So, John,
so I loved it. Let me just say, I love Spider Mall, and I was not expecting it.
Yeah.
I obviously, just from seeing things, but I expected him to have a robot or some kind of weird multi-leg lower half. Yeah. But I didn't expect that. It was like uncontrollable too.
Right.
Like he was not, I mean, he could move it, but not the way you should. Yeah. And I also never, up until this point, Darth Maul is like a serious force to be dealt with. Like, my phone started listening to me, I think, as I said serious. Siri. But like, that is not the hardened Maul that from episode 1. And that's kind of what I expected to see. And then to see this crazy, I think initially I rejected it. I was like, no, that's stupid. And then I was like, no, this is pretty good. He's been going crazy for years.
Yeah.
Only thinking about how he wants revenge. Obviously in that shape, he couldn't ever get it.
Right.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, no way he could ever get it with a half uncontrollable spider body. And that's all he dwells on is his hate for Obi-Wan. And then to see how thin he was and not strong looking anymore. Yeah. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Me too. Now, where did he get his spider legs from? Theories?
I mean, he's in a giant junkyard. So
you think he did it himself? You think he just built his own spider legs?
I think he hired, bribed at the point of a lightsaber, or whatever you want to call it, like those junk people to basically fix. That's my idea.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
And then when they had fixed him the way he wanted to, he kill them like we saw in the upper layer of his dungeon. So
right, yeah.
So I hope we find out later on in the Clone Wars. If we don't, I'm going to have to read some other stuff that hopefully explains it. Because I don't like the thought of just a no-leg Maul like running around on his hands, eventually getting to this junk planet.
Right. How would that even happen?
I mean, there has to be some way.
I think it's Palpatine. Yeah, I think Palpatine brought him there.
What?
Got him, gave him some spider legs, abandoned him on the planet to grow in his hatred. I think this is Palpatine behind the scenes.
I don't know. I would not think that just because he failed Palpatine. He didn't kill the boy. He didn't kill Obi-Wan. He did kill Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah. But this is what Palpatine does. This is what he did to Vader, right? This is what he does to Grievous. He finds these people, he manipulates them, he gives them these prosthetics that basically torture them at the same time that they strengthen them. And then, I mean, look at Vader. He basically dooms Anakin to his fate and gives him this robot body that he knows is going to suffer in, just living in constant pain. There's an also at the end of the book, the novelization of Episode 3. Sometime y'all need to find it and read like the last paragraph or something where they talk about what Darth Vader felt like in his new body. And it's horrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. And Palpatine basically intentionally puts him in this body that he's going to suffer in. I think it's Palpatine. I think it's consistent with Palpatine's character to do this, and to leave Maul to grow into a evil force in the galaxy that he may be able to manipulate at a future date.
If it is Palpatine, maybe it's a beta test because it looked like pretty shoddy work compared to Vader.
Yeah, but I think it could be intentionally shoddy because he wants Maul to continue to suffer, because that's going to fuel his hatred and anger and all of that. So make him more powerful in the dark side eventually. That's my theory. There's a comic called Son of Dathomir that I think, I don't know if it immediately follows one of the seasons of the Clone Wars or something. I think it's in our queue of episodes on that we posted on Facebook. I don't know if we'll actually read the comics or not, but I feel like Son of Dathomir is the first canon Star Wars series to be in the new canon, the comics for the new canon. So I'm sure the information's out there. Surely it's out there somewhere as to how he got his spider legs.
I want to do a search so bad right now.
Don't do it, Drew. Wait for it.
You know, the only part I really wasn't crazy about with that episode, and personal preference, was the snake. The snake, no. I guess it was supposed to be comic relief, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I was just like, I feel like you could have found a better way to lead him here other than this, Ka, like from the Jungle Book. You trust in me. But, I mean, he wasn't doing that, but it's sort of what the vibe I got from it. And I don't know, it just seemed that part seemed just a tad silly to me, but again, that might have been the intention of it.
Yeah. John, what do you think about the snake?
So probably not a good episode to watch with all 4 of my kids, but these last 2 they were all watching, including the 18-month-old. Watching. Right.
Yeah, I bet.
And there was
you'd have some nightmares for the next few weeks.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. But there was a comment which I thought was funny about Satan because of the talking snake. And I don't remember if it was William or Ava that had it. So I was like,
that was actually my first thought when I saw this talking snake.
Yeah. So I was like, leading them to a tree, or, like what's going down in this junkyard. Yeah. I was not a fan. I think if they were going to use some snake, I didn't like the mouth. I didn't like it looked like too wide with a bunch of tiny little teeth in it. And
Okay.
Yeah. Could it? I don't know. Maybe something. I'm with Drew. There may be a better way to lead him to Maul.
Okay. I actually really liked him. I thought he was really creepy and conniving. And by the end of it, I kind of trusted him, and then he betrayed him. Kind of reminded me a little bit of a Gollum type creature. Gave me some Gollum vibes. Remember when Gollum leads him to the spider in Lord of the Rings? And what is that? Is that Two Towers where he does that? I think. I don't know. But anyway, it's I thought he was pretty cool. I didn't like him like at the very beginning, but I warmed up to him pretty quick, and eventually was actually surprised by the betrayal. I didn't see the betrayal coming, where he dropped him down. I thought he was just gonna like drop him off, and then when he tried to basically feed him to Maul, I was like, whoa, okay, you fooled me, So I really liked that. And then he was shocked by the results and ended up losing his life because he underestimated Savage, but I liked him.
And he saw Savage's abilities too. I mean, when he took down the junk people, so he knew what he was capable of.
Yeah. All right. We all satisfied by the final showdown with the 4 lightsaber wielders at the end?
I sure was.
That was a fun fight to watch.
So good.
So good. What did you like about it, John?
Oh, I loved there was hardly anything I did. I don't know what I didn't like. Obi-Wan using her lightsaber.
Yeah.
And he's like, and red's not my color. Yeah. So cool. To have 4 red lightsabers going there. Oh man. And the way that they filmed it, the way that they shot it, they didn't shoot it or film it, but the way that they portrayed it, where you had like all these red lightsaber blades going all over. And then when Obi-Wan finally got his back and you had the blue, that blue color stood out so much among all the red. It just looks so awesome. Man, how cool. What awesome visual imagery. I don't know if it's imagery or not, but what awesome visual
effects.
Yeah.
And then thinking about, what the first lightsaber battles were looking like and how they were so, I don't know, very mechanical almost. And this was so fluid.
In this series, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And it was so well done.
Awesome.
What's Mother Talzin's angle? She's helping Ventress. She's helping Savage, who are now fighting each other. What's her angle?
She did say something about how, like, the Night Sisters will always rise again. So I kind of wonder if she's not just there to perpetuate her Night Sister clan somehow in some way in the future. So,
yeah, but helping both, like, why not just help?
Oh yeah,
Ventress?
Right. Sure.
Because literally, the first episode, she's helping Ventress.
That's right.
Third, she's helping Savage, and now the 2 that she helped are fighting each other. So I'm like, what's your angle in all this? Who are you really help? I mean, obviously she's really helping herself. Let's be real here. But
how though? How is she helping herself?
Right. To what end? I don't know.
Right. I don't know. That's a great question. Palpatine plays both sides, but we know why he does, right? Because he's manipulating both sides to place himself in a higher and higher position of power in the galaxy. But I don't know about her. Great question. All right. Anything else that stood out to y'all? I liked when Obi-Wan said, "Red's not my color." Did we already say that? I know we talked about it, but a great line. That was my favorite line in the series. And it was kind of nice to have Obi-Wan come in. It was like when we finally got this sane person, sane, stable person. Like we've been following Ventress. We've been looking at, we had some General Grievous in there, and then we go to Savage, and we go to Maul, and we got the Night Mother. Like everybody's just insane until we finally get Obi-Wan. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go take care of business. I liked that. I like seeing Obi-Wan at the end of this insane arc play his role there. So
it was funny to me too in the 3rd episode how they still threw Ahsoka and Anakin in there, just like the truck stop diner. Like, hey, they're still relevant, but they're not going to be in this arc for more than 10 seconds.
I don't even remember them. What were they in there for?
Remember at like the truck stop diner, like the cook comes at him with like a frying pan, like, get away from her. They're at the police state or remember Savage like chokes the person at the very beginning in the diner to get some information.
Oh, okay. I'd forgotten about that.
I think
and
they showed
Anakin
up.
and Ahsoka were there,
Yeah.
huh?
I think they showed up to eat, and then they're like, "Uh-oh, there's trouble here," and like the cop ships were out there, and yeah.
It's just, I just thought it was funny. Like,
weird.
It's a nod to like they're here, but they're going to have no role in this arc. Just so you know, they're still involved somewhere in the galaxy doing something. So
sure, just checking in. It's been a while since you've seen them, so they're hanging out together doing their thing. All right, let's rank it.
All right, I'm giving it a 9.
Okay,
I thought it was a blast to watch. I had fun watching it the entire time. I like the tie-in with Maul, the surprise, Spider Maul, creepy, psychologically really dark. There were so many adult themes in here that I think each one had an adult theme that I was a little bit surprised about, human trafficking. It's a lot of different things here, but it was action filled. It progressed the story. It was fun. It was engaging. I loved it.
Cool. Let's hear it, John.
All right. I am, I think I'm a 10. This is probably my first 10, but this is like what I want out of this series. Like I want answers, I want action, and I want, like smart connections to things is what and so, best one that I've seen so far.
I'm right there with you. I'm giving this a 10. As soon as I saw Spider-Man, I was like, "This, all right." I was enjoying it really, really a lot up to that point, and then Spider-Man comes in, and it did not disappoint. 10 out of 10, easiest 10 out of 10. I don't know if I've given a 10 out of 10 yet or not. I don't remember it, but this is definitely my favorite arc that we've seen so far. So if we can do more like this in seasons 5 and 6 and 7, we are in for a awesome ride going forward. Speaking of which, that's the end of season 4. We've got 5, 6, 7, and I got no emails about what order we should watch, so I guess we'll just keep going arc by arc.
So another comment on Spider-Man. So I watched it with the kids, and I wish y'all could have heard the dialogue. Like, they're like, "What's he doing?" I'm like, "He's looking for his brother." Shh. And then they're like, "Look at that spider! This is creepy!" And like the girls are crowding up to me, and then you could kind of see a flash of like Darth Maul just for a second, like on top, like part of the spider. And I was like, "I think that's their brother," and they're like, "That's not a brother, that's a spider." Like it was pretty exciting.
Kids make everything better.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I would not let Luke watch this. No way. He's still watching. About the scariest thing he's seen is like, I don't know. What's the scariest thing in Curious George? The Halloween episode of Curious George or something, where there's a scary scarecrow or something. That's about the scariest thing I think he's seen on TV. So, cool. Drew, what's next?
So next week we have the Onderon arc. That's episodes 502 to 505. A War on Two Fronts, Front Runners, The Soft War, and Tipping Points.
All right. Yeah, and this is weird. I mentioned it last week. We're skipping 501. All the rest of season 5, I'm pretty sure, is in order. But 501, for some reason, is cherry-picked right out of the middle somewhere and put at the beginning. So, again, don't know if that's intentional or not, but I guess we're going to ignore it and just continue down our chronological path. See where we end up. Cool. Well, if you want to email us, Star Wars Brothers Podcast at gmail.com is the email address that you use. And tell all your friends about us. You can contribute to our Patreon, and you can start out. Our starting level is $400 per month, and that gets you an appearance on the podcast. You become a regular podcast member for $400 a month, and you'll be our 4th. So if you can find our Patreon and do the $400 tier, then you can join us. It's not true. We don't have Patreon.
Yeah, but if we did,
If we did, you know what? If you want to pay us $400 a month and be a part of the podcast, just send us an email.
I will send you something. I will send you something Star Wars related every month.
Every month for $400.
I can't guarantee what the value of it will be, but to somebody it would probably
less than $400. Yeah,
absolutely.
But we'll sign it. We'll all sign it.
No, it's going to be too hard to work out logistically.
You can sign
at least,
John. You'll sign it. Yeah,
at least one of us will sign.
One of us will sign.
There you go.
Over the course of a year, you're guaranteed to get every one of our signatures at least once.
No, it's not worth it to me. I don't want to fool with that.
You know what's kind of sad? I just realized this. I was looking at future arcs, and I'm really excited about 5 and just the future where they take this at this point. Season 5, most of the seasons up to this point have had 22 or 23 episodes.
Yeah.
Season 5 only has 20, so still a good number.
Okay. Yeah.
Season 6 and 7 only have 13.
Each? Okay.
Yeah. 6 has 13 and 7 has 12.
Okay. All right.
So I'm like,
well, I get the impression that we kind of ended unfinished in season 6. And people were loving the Clone Wars, and then maybe it got canceled because there were a bunch of like unreleased episodes that they ended up sort of finishing when they came out with season 7. I don't know if they're all that. There may be some brand new developed ones as well, but I think some of them were all storyboarded and prepared, and then for whatever the show just got canceled. So it might be more like 6 and 7 are sort of a season together, that just puttered out in the middle of it, despite the momentum from fans at that point. So.
Yeah.
That's my impression anyway. Who knows if that's true? Yeah, it's funny when you look up what is considered canon in Star Wars, some of the unfinished, unreleased, storyboarded episodes are actually considered canon in the new canon. So that's a little weird. I don't know if we'll dig into that or not when we get to that point, but we'll talk about it when we get closer. And then at some point, there's a novel and some comic series that pop in the middle of all this. So we're going to have to decide if we're going to take a break from watching to, read a book and some comics, or if we're just going to barrel through this series and then maybe consider doing that later or skip it all together. So y'all be thinking about that if you want to try to do that. I'm probably down for it, but I would just do an audiobook, and I have a pretty good commute every day, so it wouldn't be that hard. And I've been wanting to catch up on some Star Wars comics anyway, so that would be fun to get an introduction to that as it relates to the Clone Wars episodes. But we'll figure that out when the time comes. So we might need to take like a week or two off to give ourselves time to read a whole book, but because listening through an audiobook is going to be a whole lot more than just watching a few episodes. It'll probably be 8 to 12 hours long, of listening. So we'll see if we decide to do it or not. Dark Disciple maybe is what that's called when we get there. I forget. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. No, thanks for listening.
That's
What?
That's really annoying. Are you wearing earphones?
Nope, just wearing one earphone.
Here, listen.
That's not too bad.